Hello everybody, once again, I'm Liam Crafton Jr., aka Zorval Chan Less Than Guru. Sadly, Mars isn't here right now, but he just said his name, so he will probably be here very soon. He's getting frustrated because I've been making a lot of these videos and utterly failing for one reason or another. So, to start off with that, I have just bought a new mic right here. That'll probably make some noise. Here's Mars. And that still didn't prevent those clicking sounds, those static popping noises. I even got a cover for it that is supposed to eliminate plosives, which are supposedly popping noises that happen when you say certain consonants, but it was still happening, so I am using a new video recording software now. So my old one, so I am transitioning to that. Hopefully I'll be able to watch this video and at the end everything will run smoothly. But if I look off here, it's because that screen is where my recording is. My old software, I could have it on my main screen with my main stuff that I'm showing and everything would be there, so I didn't have to, I could still look towards the camera and see what was going on. So we'll see how this goes. Today I want to show what I personally use and why I personally use this for my games, what technology type things that I use. All my games right now are online or on virtual tabletops. The closest gaming group I have is 2 hours away, and we were going to get together every other week, and then the pandemic hit and we kind of stopped that. And even though things are getting kind of better, we just got so accustomed. And for me, I can just log on, play, and log off, and I don't have to do that 2 hour drive and 2 hour back. And even if we were getting together, we would probably put the maps and the stuff on the big screen, at least for combat. It makes it really easy instead of having to clean off table space and use miniatures, although there are some really cool, even do-it-yourself, making tables that have the TV laying flat that you can put your miniatures on, like a piece of plexiglass between the TV so you don't scratch up your TV screen. But all different types. You can choose the hybrid, is basically when I say the hybrid that fits you and your group and your game and everything. Just like I said, the same three keys to making your game great for you and your table: understanding your players, what they like, what they dislike, understanding the system, what works well, what doesn't, understanding the purpose, the reason, the setting, and everything. So I personally currently, in the one game that I game master now, I use Foundry. I did use Roll20. This channel here started because I did a tutorial on how to get a Torg Eternity game going on Roll20. That was the reason. I basically just wanted to put one video up, and then I thought, I should, and it was a basic, meaning not needing higher level subscriptions, free, how you could do it. But then I decided, for those who wanted to use dynamic lighting and things that the higher paid subscriptions did, then I started making those. And I was happy with Roll20 for a long time, and Roll20 works very well until it doesn't work. And I was getting to a point when we were having lots of problems in our different games, getting the games to work, being able to log in, having stuff like that, and I decided to test Foundry out. I bought Foundry, which is a one-time fee of $50. There's no monthly subscription to it. Yes, you can, if you don't want to host it on your personal computer, you can rent a monthly subscription basically for a host server to hold your game, but you don't have to. You can just buy it the one time, use it for your game, and you don't have to pay more. So that was the reason that I got it. It's on my computer. It's always on. If it fails, it's because it's my own fault, and that has happened sometimes. And But other than that, it's been working very well. You can also add modules. You can determine what add-ons you want, because this, unlike Roll20, doesn't just come with a lot of character sheets that you can pull up, and the system is the same. You have to choose a system, a world type thing, and then you can add on modules. So if you want something more than the base, then you can put add-ons. Sometimes they work very well together. Sometimes they might clash. So you might have to determine which module isn't working and is working. For Palladium, you'll want to use the system for GRPG, a generic role-playing game aid. It's great. It has a combat tracker. If you do nothing else, if you don't watch my campaign videos full blast, the whole 2.5 to 3 hours, just look at one of the recent ones on how the combat works, on how the combat tracker keeps track of everybody's actions, how many actions they're left, and how people can cast spells like Fleet Feet and double their attacks, and how it counts and how it does that. It's a very awesome thing. We just learned how to make macros to get weapons to work, how to automatically take ammo away if you shoot something and it requires ammo. It's just lots of cool things, and you can get on that Discord for GRPGA, and basically I was the first Palladium person to get it, doing Palladium First Edition, and after that, Rifts. We have somebody who's getting Rifts set up. We have somebody who's done some spectacular stuff with Robotech. So it's not just a Palladium First Edition thing. This can handle all of those things, and at least the guy doing the Robotech is he's getting some really weird, wacky, amazing things. And I don't say weird and wacky as any type of bad thing. I mean, it just blows my mind how people who know how to code can do stuff. I have zero coding experience. I can copy and paste, and I can figure out how to maybe, if I'm changing a weapon name, I can, take away this weapon name and put a different weapon name. That's like modifying stuff is what I can do if I can figure it out. So having said that, Foundry is my virtual tabletop of choice, but any of them, if they work for you and your group, they can be a benefit even if you don't play virtually. Even if you play together, you can project it up on the wall if you have a projector or big screen TV, or get one of those or make one of those. There's lots of YouTube videos that shows you kind of how people have made it themselves. So depending on what you want to do, it can be a really cool hybrid system. So I'll just leave that with the Foundry. So when I make tokens, how do you make tokens? One of the very popular things out there now is Hero Forge. Hero Forge started off making little miniatures that you could make, you could order, you can get shipped to your house, and then you could paint. And then they made it so that if you had a subscription, you could get those painted already. And a couple of my friends got into that and made their characters, and then they took an image of that character and put it and basically turned it into a token. That's perfectly fine. That is great. That's what you like. There is an artist who uses it. He does his own normal art. I'll say normal art, like as an official Torg Eternity artist. But he will go to Hero Forge and use that to make Cyber Priests from Cyber Papacy and all the different types of crazy weirdness of Torg Eternity. He will be able to make figures for, and that's great. And a lot of people in Torganized Play use those. If you watch Roll Hit Die, my Wednesday game that I get streamed on Twitch, and then later they get added here on YouTube. The person who does the streaming, Dan, every day that we stream, he gives a little shout out to Roll20, because that's where we play there, and Hero Forge, because that's where most of the people make their tokens. So I will give my shout out to Foundry and to Daz Studio. Daz Studio is what I use to make my images and artwork and the base of my tokens. So I'm going to pull up Daz Studio here. This is a compiled 3D models. So this type of stuff I've been doing since 2004. Again, I'm not a coder, I am not a modeler. People make the 3D models, and then other people do things to modify those models. So this model here is basically a Rakasha. That is a tiger humanoid. It starts off as a base of a man, and then somebody did a modify and makes it into a tiger. So I took that as the base. And one of my players wanted a Lynx man, and I don't have a Lynx man. But you can combine things using 3D technology so that you can render it in 2D and make it look very, very good. So I wanted to kind of show this. There's another program out there that I used at the beginning of this type of thing, Poser. Poser is probably like $200 to $300 now for the pro version, I believe. So you have to, it is a significant chunk of money, and then you can put certain assets there. Daz assets, Daz 3D assets, some of them work in Posers. Almost all the older stuff from say 2000, I want to say probably 2016, maybe 2012. Can't remember which one of those dates. And earlier will work perfect with Poser without any problem. Stuff after that is a hit and miss, and it's completely miss for any of their newer humanoid, human and human offshoot hybrid models. So I've switched over to Daz Studio. Daz Studio is free to download, but your assets you're going to pay for. They do have some what they call weekly freebies, but sometimes they take a month or two to get in a rotation. They do have a grab bag that is like 70% off. That is pretty decent. A typical new release, and it can vary, of course, is say around $20. But you can take pieces of different things, so it's not like you're forced to only use that thing and only that thing. If it's an outfit, you can mix and match pieces of different outfits so you can have more reuse of those items. And honest, gotta say it, gotta be honest, it's like dress up with Barbie. It is, you have a model and you put clothes and accessories on, guns and knives and swords and boots or not boots or claws, fur, hair, different hairstyles, all of that. But you can get some really, really nice looking pictures afterwards. Some people like buying miniatures. They like painting miniatures and terrain and stuff like that. My money sink, if you want to say my hobby, my paid hobby that I do is this. This is a character, like I said, that one of my players wanted a feline and a kind of Clint Eastwood-ish attitude bounty hunter. Has a club, so that's why I gave him this club here. And you just add, so I had this base Tiger Man figure, and I don't have a tiger face, so what do? I had a lynx, a actual cat. So I took it, and you'll see, and there's the secret. I put a lynx, set up the head to fit turn the tiger head and eyes and tongue invisible. I added the lynx, I hid the body behind, I folded the legs in, and when you get it at the view, and if I wanted to, I could have made all of these invisible, but you just have to click each of these. You'll see it's kind of in that the yellow highlight. You'd have to click all of those and turn those invisible. But for me, it was just easy to turn it like that and add a scarf so you don't see that cut right there. So when you're like, maybe not so good, where it's the links, where's the fur tufts? That's because this is the base, it's not the actual render. Once you get everything set up, you hit the render button, and depending on your computer's processing power, and especially the RAM, there were certain high fur images that were crashing it. When I hit 16 RAM, I upgraded to 32 RAM, gigs of RAM, and I haven't had any problem after that. Sometimes they'll take a couple of minutes, sometimes it'll take an hour or so if you have something that is intensive. And the more things you add to the scene, the longer it takes. On those times, I'll start the render, and I'll go to sleep and wake up, and then it will be ready. But normally, if I'm just doing one figure like this could take anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes. The long side being if there's a lot of fur. But at any time, if you notice you made a mistake, you can hit the cancel and get out of that, change it, and get back into it. So I'll show you what this becomes. This is like a 3-minute of render. So I stopped it because I didn't want to spend up to 20 minutes waiting until I did this video. But after 3 minutes, you already have an image that looks like this. It'll clean up a little and make it less digital, pixelated, I guess. But you can see that fur is finally there. You can see those claws, and the fur is actually on the hands and the feet. And it has a leather trench coat like thing, and you'll see all of that. So you can get a really, really nice image using DAZ Studio. So then when I have that full image, I can add a full image to Foundry if I want. If I want people to be able to look at the characters and get a full image of the characters or NPCs, I can do that. And then I'll take that image and I'll transport it over to make a token, and I'll show you what I use there. I use it's an online free thing. It's called Token Stamp, rolladvantage.com/token stamp, and I'll drag and drop that image. So this was a dwarf cleric that one of my characters has made, and you can pick a border, and if your border is not this one I just like this a lot because it can it just looks at the transition between yellow and red and dark and light looks nice. But if you want to do something else, you can add a border color. You can change the background colors, and then you just drag and drop your image, and you can resize the image, you can twist the image, and you just get whatever image you want in there. You're just doing a token. If you just want their face to show, that's fine. If you want to show their whole body, you can do that too. And up here, you'll see in the upper right hand, you'll see what the actual token is. So the token, it'll have that transparency. You click download, it'll download it to your download files. It'll be called something like just token generic, but then you can rename it. You can either drag and drop it into your Foundry data file that you keep organized however you want, or you can drag and drop it to Roll20 or whatever your virtual tabletop is, and you have a token that is ready. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is a map making program. I've always had out of everything that I've done, I've always had the most difficulty in making maps. And I had previously heard, I think it was a YouTube video that I was watching, somebody's like, hey, I use this, and they might even been sponsored by it, and I'm like, okay, great, a sponsor. And none of this is sponsored. This is just my YouTube channel. I thank all 59 of you subscribers. thank everybody who watches these, but I am in nowhere close to anybody wanting to sponsor this. So all of this is not sponsored, but I thought this other one probably was sponsored as a map maker. I have tried Campaign Cartographer, and that has a steep learning curve. You can make beautiful, beautiful maps, I will not lie, but there's certain things that I will learn, and then if I don't do them often, I will completely forget most of it, if not all of it, before I go back. That's why I like easy things like this token, the stamp master, token stamp, sorry. That's why I use Dash Studio a lot. I use that enough. If I would go back to Poser every once in a while, I have to go back to Poser, which I really knew like awesomely 10 years ago. Now it takes a little while because I'm used to a different system. I use for any type of touch-up or things like for Photoshop-ish, I use GIMP, which is a free kind of Photoshop version out there. That sometimes I do a lot of searches online, how to remove background, make background transparent, things like that. So your Google or search engine is your friend. But speaking of maps, I decided today to try this map because I wanted to make a map of an island. And I went to this Incarnate, so like incarnate, but with a K. INK is an ink. Arnet, ARNATE.com. And this, you can do some basic things for free. It's all in your browser, and you can, of course, they try to get you to do a paid subscription a year for $25 or $5 a month, which would be $60 a year. So if you decide that you like it at all, the year subscription is a much better value. You're paying for 5 months and getting a full year. But even without the pay, because I haven't subscribed yet, see the little, they want me to upgrade to Pro, I made this map in 10 minutes. 10 minutes start to finish without any prior knowledge how this works. So if we want to load this map up, and this is the first time I've been back today. They want you to do Chrome or Firefox, but it works in Chromium. This is a map that I made. I wanted the island of the Nintir Vale. If I pull up my Foundry, a possible quest that people might go is they might go to this island up here that has a ruined, it doesn't look ruined in this image, but it is a ruined tower. So I wanted something to put in here. And if you look, this is what I made. I just used a table and put the table there, and then I put a well. I think I put a well, and then I put a table and fit the table into the well, and then I really shrank the runes. I added broken stairs to make them a dock, added a little boat, and put some like paving stones and crumbled stones around there, and basically just in 10 minutes I made this. Let's see if it'll let me make a new one. Let's see how I would even do that. Add, subtract, shape, history. See, you can tell I am completely new. And then I was able to export it, and then well, I'll always show you. I was able to export it, and in my scenes now I have this here. And with Foundry I added some effects. If they do it, I thought maybe they could be in a little rainstorm, so you see the rain coming off, and there's a little group thing I have going so they can move there. I'll probably adjust the feet because that is wrong, but I have a battle map, or at least a exploration map kind of already there and waiting. Let's see if I can edit, save, recovery. What's new? Okay, there we go. So let's create a new map. See how easy. So I'm in the free version. You can choose a city map, a world map, and they have different ones. Pros, of course, will give you a lot more assets. Instead of 400, you'll get 10,000. But we can choose that style. Again, free. We have to do a landscape. What I did is I just took it into Paint, MS Paint, and cropped it. So you can do that. But you start off with this. So then what do? You have this little dig thing. And you can, let's say we want to make an island again, make it different. You just do that. You get your shape, and then boom, it does that. Okay, well, it's an island. What about all this back stuff? So you go here, you open the catalog. You can do all of your, these are the free ones. So here, let's do a sea. And you start up here, and you can see, you can go right through it. It keeps those layers separate. And you just kind of fill out everything. And if you go, man, I don't, this is taking way, maybe I want to make the island a little bigger. Well, then you just go back and you make the island a little bigger. And maybe I'll put a lake in the middle of it. Boom. Now I got a cool item. And then they have these things called stamps. I had of it, apparently last thing I was putting was trees, and it will cycle through so that it can be random. And if you use the pointer and you want a tree to be bigger, you can make it bigger. You can turn it. You can move it. And then you can just choose, say, a different stamp. And here's all the base ones. The numbers here are what types. So if you want some type of door, you can do the show door. So you have a closed trap door, open trap door, double trap door, open double trap door. And like here, that was the well. Let me just click here. And what I did is I put a well, but I wanted it to be a ruined tower. So then I went back to choose another one, and I chose that table. And I put the table, and I just shrank the table so that it looks like a floor and not a table. And it will make things, each one will go up a layer. So there, I accidentally added one. I can choose it. Oops, I'm hitting escape instead of delete. And then I can delete it. And then, let's see, I wanted to add like ruins around it. So I saw this rune thing, and I'm like, what is in this rune thing? And I saw this was a circle. Well, see how big that is? That's crazy big. But if you put that on it, then yeah, you can change that size, and you can get in there. Also, it has a little a size here, but you can make it kind of fit how you want, move it where you want. Again, you can rotate here or on the map how you want. And if you want to enter some text, you can do text. I didn't. And again, at any time, if you want to kind of line things up, you can line those things up. So, boom, export it. Now you have a map. So basically, I just wanted to show you how easy this is to make really awesome looking maps. If I would have known this, it would have saved me a ton of time trying to find online that perfect map that fit the world, or especially with the D&D 4th edition. The maps, a lot of times they'll only have certain sections, or the big map is just on the back of, I'll actually show you, for the Adventure of the Winter King, the map is just that. So I want to say when you come in, it's like this, and when you try to blow this up on a virtual tabletop, it has an extremely high loss of detail. I could go into this, I could reproduce this as fast as it took me having to adjust things and trying to put stuff that, piecemeal stuff together. So that's basically what I wanted to say. These are the tools that I've been using, and the one new tool that I will definitely be using in the future for my games, making the games fit my group, making the games fit my system, and making it easier for me. So having said that, hopefully you've got some more and new choices, or have even thought about, if you love your real life around the table group, maybe some of these things you can do to hybrid and add more to your game. So having said that, I'll go ahead and stop. Once again, I am Lehman Crafton Jr., aka Zoral Chan, and until next time, I will catch you later, and I have to look over here to stop recording.